Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It's a pleasure to welcome you all to the 2 days National Conference on the Large-Scale Integration of Renewable Energy, hosted by USAID and the Ministry of Power under GTG RISE initiative, which stands for Greening the Grid, Renewable Integration and Sustainable Energy. India's journey towards clean energy transition continues at a much faster pace, with a more focus on clean energy deployment, self-reliance, climate action, energy security, technology advancement, economic growth and development. USAID, or United States Agency for International Development, has had a long and a successful partnership with the Ministry of Power since 1950s, implementing several successful activities. Today, we are gathered here to celebrate the joint achievement and success of one such activity, that is GTG RISE initiative. GTG RISE is the central component of Greening the Grid program, a bilateral activity implemented in partnership with the Ministry of Power under the US-India Strategic Clean Energy Partnership. GTG aims to support GOI's effort to manage large-scale integration of renewable energy into the grid. In the past 5 years, GTG undertook several analytical and modeling studies, including the National Grid Integration Studies, validated several advanced technologies and solutions through pilots under the RISE initiative, and engineered peer-to-peer partnership between US, Indian system operators and regulators. The program brought together an array of specialized partners with their unique expertise. This included National Renewable Energy Lab, leading the modeling studies, Deloitte LLP, leading the GTG RISE initiative, United States Energy Association or USEA, leading the System Operator Partnership, and NARUC or National Association of Regulatory Utilities Commissioner, leading on the regulatory partnership. We were fortunate to collaborate with some very committed GOI agencies, including Power Grid, POSOCO, CEA, CERC, NTPC, GSECL, KPCL, KPTCL, and many, many more. The 2-day conference, National Conference on Large-Scale Integration of Renewable Energy in India, celebrates the successes, achievements, as well as the challenges and learning from the pilot implementation. It is also an opportune moment for us to look forward. The conference brings together key GOI partners, energy leaders, power sector champions, and many other stakeholders to deliberate upon challenges, scalability opportunities, and the way forward as India moves towards a target of 450 gigawatt of renewable energy target. Without further ado, we will kickstart the inaugural session, and I'll introduce our first speaker, and then invite her for the welcome remarks. I'm very delighted to introduce, ladies and gentlemen, Ms. Veena Reddy, who's recently joined USAID as the Mission Director. Veena Reddy, a career member of the Senior Foreign Service, took charge as the new Mission Director for USAID in August 2021. In her role as the Mission Director, Ms. Reddy will lead USAID's operation in India and Bhutan. Ms. Reddy brings with her a rich background in development and diplomacy. Born in Andhra Pradesh, India, she is the first Indian American to lead USAID in India and Bhutan. Ms. Reddy most recently served as the Mission Director of USAID in Cambodia, where she oversaw robust programs spanning food security, environment, health, education, child protection, democracy, and governance. Previously, Ms. Reddy has also worked at USAID Haiti as the Deputy Mission Director. Prior to Haiti, Ms. Reddy has served in Washington, D.C. as an Assistant General Counsel covering legal matters for USAID program in Asia, the Middle East, and Afghanistan and Pakistan. With broad international experience, Ms. Reddy also served at USAID Mission in Pakistan and in regional roles in Central Asia and Central America. Before embarking on a career of federal government service, Ms. Reddy was a corporate attorney in New York, London, and Los Angeles. I'm really delighted to welcome Ms. Veena Reddy. So over to you, Veena, for your welcome remarks.
Thank you, Monali, for that kind introduction. And good morning, Secretary Kumar, Mr. Shrikant, all the distinguished panel members, participants, and guests. On behalf of the United States Agency for International Development, better known as USAID or USAID, it is my privilege to welcome you today to the inaugural session of the National Conference on Large-Scale Integration of Renewable Energy in India, with its focus as transforming India's power landscape. Let me start by saying how pleased I am to take part today. It is a great honor to serve as USAID's new mission director to India, and I look forward to working with you all in further strengthening the US-India energy relationship, which is one of our most vibrant and successful partnerships. So USAID has partnered for more than 70 years in India, with India, and that relationship has evolved in parallel to India's growth and leadership. And so today we're proud to collaborate to spur clean energy and environmental reform, to tackle climate crisis, improve health outcomes, encourage inclusive economic growth, and bolster the COVID-19 response in India and across the world. USAID supports India's inclusive development while also enhancing India's leadership in South Asia region and globally. And as many of you likely know, the United States government is placing climate change at the center of US foreign policy and development. And as one of the world's largest economies and a global leader in science and innovation, India is a critical part of the solution to climate crisis. At the Leaders Climate Summit in April, President Biden and Prime Minister Modi launched the the India-US Climate and Clean Energy Agenda 2020 Partnership, also known as the Agenda 2020 Partnership, to strengthen cooperation to meet the goals of the Paris Agreement and to help each country achieve its respective climate and clean energy goals. The United States and India have set ambitious 2030 targets for climate action and clean technology and clean energy. While in the US, we plan to reduce our net greenhouse gas emissions by 50% below 2005 levels by 2030. India has shown great leadership in aiming to install 450 gigawatts of renewable energy by 2030, with a milestone of 100 gigawatt capacity reached this month. That is really amazing. So congratulations to the government of India and all of its partners in this endeavor for this incredible achievement. USAID is proud to support India's climate commitments and renewable energy targets. However, our work does not stop at supporting international carbon reduction goals. It also promotes environmentally sustainable jobs and investments into a diverse economy. It tackles historical global inequality and justice, and it also builds stronger, healthier, more resilient communities. As we tackle the climate crisis, we must ensure that the voices of the most vulnerable people, the ones who disproportionately experience the effects of climate change, are front and center. It is their lived experience that should guide us in formulating the most effective and most equitable climate response. As we all know, no government can address all development challenges alone. And so USAID recognizes the importance of the private sector as a key driving force for India's inclusive development. And we are continually looking for ways to enhance our partnerships with both the private sector and the government of India. And we have been fortunate to work with the Ministry of Power on several collaborative efforts. We've gathered here today to celebrate one such successful partnership, the Greening the Grid program. Over the past 5 years, the program has successfully engaged with key stakeholders to support large-scale renewable energy integration through innovative pilots, regulatory support, peer-to-peer partnerships, and rigorous modeling exercises. USAID applauds the government of India for taking the best practices and lessons learned from the Greening the Grid pilots to scale. I'll highlight just a few of our many shared accomplishments. Through the Greening the Grid program, for example, USAID supported the Central Electricity Regulatory Commission in launching a groundbreaking real-time electricity market, bringing the Indian power market on par with the world's most sophisticated systems, while building in more transparency and more efficiency. Importantly, this step forward for the Indian power market will ultimately enhance regional power integration as well. This program has also supported the government of India's first national roadmap on automatic generation control, a tool for maintaining grid stability through pilots on hydro and renewable generators. We look forward to seeing the pilot scaled and deployed at a national level for generators of all types. And importantly, USAID is focused on advocating for women's participation in the clean energy sector, a traditionally male-dominated field, by establishing South Asia Women in Energy, or SAWI, platform that creates awareness on the importance of mainstreaming women in the energy sector and provides networking and mentoring opportunities for them to succeed as women leaders. The US-India Strategic Clean Energy Partnership is thriving, and our work is far from over. At USAID, we look forward to our continued teamwork with the Ministry of Power, with our new regional energy program, the South Asia Regional Energy Partnership, which focuses on expanding renewable energy generation and integrating renewable energy sources into a reliable and efficient power grid for India and the South Asia region. So in closing, I would like to say that USAID values our strong collaboration and partnership with India, in particular with the Ministry of Power, in making the Green Grid a success. And I would like to also thank Secretary Kumar and Joint Secretary Narayan for your dedication and active support. And I look forward to our continued partnership. And I look forward to the distinguished panelists and other speakers today. And once again, I welcome all of you to this important conference, and I encourage everyone to share their wealth of knowledge. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Veena, for your welcome remarks. We will now go on to our next speaker, Mr. K. Shrikant. But before I do so, I would also like to mention that two of key stakeholders, Joint Secretary Narayan from Ministry of Power, as well as Mr. KVS Baba, Managing CMD, Pusuku, were supposed to be speaking at this important conference, but unfortunately, they're in Srinagar, and while their flight has been scheduled in a way that they will be arriving at the same time in the morning, and were unable to join. But we are thankful for their collaboration and support to us. We'll now move on to our very next speaker, who has been again a great supporter, and we've been fortunate to partner with Power Grid. I'm delighted now to introduce Mr. K. Srikanth, Chairman and Managing Director, Power Grid Corporation of India. Shri K. Srikanth assumed charge as the CMD of Power Grid Corporation of India Limited in August 2019. He has over 34 years of experience in power sector in the areas of long-term financial planning, investment appraisals, formulation of capital budget, resource mobilization for domestic and international markets, corporate accounts, commercial regulatory affairs, and enterprise resource planning. Prior to this, he has served as Director of Finance in PGCL and earlier as GM Finance NTPC. I'm very delighted to welcome you, sir. Over to you.
Thank you. Secretary Par Sri Alok Kumar, Ms. Veena Reddy of the USA team, colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, a very good morning. On behalf of the Power Grid, I am very delighted to be with you for today's event on dissemination of key learnings accumulated since last 5 years under the USAID's Greening the Grid, Renewable Integration and Sustainable Energy Initiative. I would like to extend my sincere congratulations to USAID for its efforts under the GTG RISE for providing valuable insights on the technical aspects of various pilots. PowerGrid is proud to be associated with the program in which a pilot project on battery energy storage was implemented at Puducherry. In cricket parlance, it is said that a good batsman is one who takes a fresh guard after he has scored a century. Today, it is very apt for our country because we have crossed the 100 gigawatt of RE power very recently. And I think it is the right moment and opportunity to look afresh at the strategies to be adopted for integration of large-scale renewables into our grid. A recent study of the MIT suggests that in the US, federally coordinated interstate coordination and transmission system expansion could lower the cost of fully decarbonizing the electricity grid by 2040 by approximately 46%. I think we must be grateful that the benefits of an integrated national grid were long ago recognized by our system planners and pursued vigorously by the power grid, leading to creation of a robust national grid with more than 110 gigawatts of inter-regional transfer capacity. This network has not only facilitated the reduction of cost of power purchased to the utilities, it also enabled seamless integration of the 100 gigawatts of RE capacity in our country. Two of the findings of this study are very relevant for our country. One is that a nationwide transmission allows taking advantage of geographic diversity in RE resources. Power sharing across regions facing widely different weather systems improves round-the-clock availability of electricity. The amount and duration of energy storage required would reduce as you try to take advantage of the very characteristic the RE generation, that is variability. To give you an example, recently we have built the Raigarh-Pugalur HVD system, which has a potential to carry 6 gigawatts of power, primarily from the western region to the southern region. But in the recent times, it was used to export nearly 1,000 megawatts of renewable power from the southern region to the western region. And this benefit of the RE power, which otherwise would have been, not scheduled, or it would not have been, this benefit could be taken only because there was a robust interconnection. Secondly, a strong grid allows wind and solar development to be concentrated in the sunniest and windiest parts of the country, so that more clean energy can be supplied by less installed generation capacity, and it will be required to be curtailed less often. We are planning to build large capacity in Rajasthan, Kutch, and Leh regions to take advantage of the high solar and wind potential and transmit this power to the demand centers in other regions of our country. Thus, latest research also vindicates the policy stance adopted sorry, for centralized transmission planning and development of a transmission network in our country. While there is a case for distributed generation also in the renewables, under certain conditions, It has also limitations because without adequate backup of a grid interconnection, we can see that there are potential disturbances. For example, in the recent cyclone on the western coast, DU was impacted significantly and its power supply was affected for long duration uh, because the grid connection was not robust and also because the RE power which was established there got impacted by the cyclone and could not produce. Therefore, to provide reliable and power, it is essential that there is grid interconnection, and that is how we should be moving forward towards a 100% decarbonized grid. The uh, integration of large-scale renewables into our grid is also possible, I think, with the existing technologies and also taking advantage of the various storage technologies which are expected to come up by 2030 when the prices are going to expected to further come down. And there, I believe that as India is poised for increasing its renewable capacity for 450 gigawatts by 2030, we are well placed to take advantage of the new technologies that are developing and also increasing the spread and the uh, smartness of our inter-regional grids so that this RE power is well absorbed and facilitating energy transition and sustainability of our economy. I would conclude by once again complimenting the USAID for organizing this seminar and wish that this conference would provide uh, valuable inputs to the participants. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Shrikant ji. We really appreciate your time for joining us today for this important event. Um, so, ladies and gentlemen, we move on to the next segment. We have Shri Alok Kumar, Secretary, Ministry of Power. Unfortunately, sir could not join us because a meeting has been called up for which he's been pulled into, but he did record his message for all the participants, and we will shortly play it. I just quickly wanted to introduce Shri Alok Kumar, although I'm sure he does not need any introduction, but Mr. Kumar is assumed charge as the Secretary in the Ministry of Power in February 2021. He's a 1988 batch Indian Administrative Service Officer from the Uttar Pradesh cadre. During his career of 30 years as an IAS officer, he's held various administrative positions in revenue, transport, power, housing, urban planning, and so many more. Before joining as the Union Power Secretary, he was the Additional Chief Secretary, Industrial Development and IT and Electronics in the Government of Uttar Pradesh. He has acquired widely recognized expertise in policy and regulatory affairs of India's electricity sector while working for more than 7 years at the national and about 3 years at the state level in Uttar Pradesh. It gives me a great pleasure to introduce him and have him deliver his message for today's event. Can we have his audio, please? Video.
Very good morning. I'm very happy to be speaking on the occasion of the inauguration of 2-day long workshop on large-scale integration of renewable energy in India, being organized by USAID. I also welcome the new Mission Director, Ms. Meena Reddy, who has joined us on this occasion. Let me speak for a few minutes about India's power sector. India has transformed its power sector in the last around 7 years. We used to be power deficit, now we are power surplus. India has adequate generation capacity and its share in green energy is also increasing. We have also integrated our all regional grids into one robust national grid, and we can now transmit more than 1 lakh megawatt from any corner of the country to other corner of the country through interstate transmission network. Most spectacular work has been done in universalizing the access to electricity. We have electrified all our villages and all our hamlets, and this has been a very spectacular work that we have electrified more than 2.8 crore, that is 28 million households in less than 1.5 years. And apart from this, we have also strengthened our distribution network. Now our supply of hours in rural areas, they have almost increased by 80%. We are close to now 23 hours on all India basis, and many states are now supplying 24-hour supply in rural areas, and our major towns are getting close to 24-hour supply. While we have universalized the access, increased our transmission capacity, generation capacity, we have also taken care of the energy security and energy sustainability. The journey in the energy transition has also been very successful, and this has been very widely recognized by the global community. In all this journey, we value our partnership with US. US aid has been helping us, assisting us in experience sharing, some technical collaboration projects in the area of flexible generation, battery energy storage, and also in terms of capacity building of regulatory commissions, working with the system operators. And I am very happy to mention that recently our partnership with US has been elevated to now strategic clean energy partnership, and the leaders of the two countries, they have really come together, and we are very hopeful, and we have very good prospects. As is well known, India has announced the most ambitious target of adding 450 gigawatt of renewable energy by the end of this decade, and this is a very challenging task. India has done so far a number of things. We have set up green energy corridors. A number of renewable energy management centers have come up. They are functioning. We have also introduced a number of new products in power exchanges, which are facilitating larger integration of renewable energy. And I look forward to continued and strengthened partnership with US in the whole arena of energy, and more particularly in energy transition, which my Ministry of Power has been tasked to take forward, and we are very confident that with continued partnership with USAID, we will have best of the experience sharing, technical collaboration, and I wish all the success to this two-day workshop. And my special thanks to USAID for providing us all technical knowledge, and I continue to look forward for this partnership. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Shri Alok Kumar. And now I'll invite Mission Director Veena Reddy to also unveil a copy of the report. So please requesting Veena to please open the report and display the report for the audience. Thank you so much, Veena. Thank you so much. That report, ladies and gentlemen, covers the journey of 5 years of GTG. So this will be available online. Thank you, Veena. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we also have a video which documents the journey of GTG. It's an overview, so requesting the video to be streamed, please.
Our renewable energy capacity is the fourth largest in the world. It will reach 175 gigawatts before 2022. And we have an even more ambitious target now, 450 gigawatts of renewable energy capacity by 2030.
The U.S.-India energy relationship is one of our most vibrant and successful partnerships. As India pursues its ambitious renewable energy targets and seeks to transform its energy sector, the U.S. and Indian governments are collaborating on deploying and integrating renewable energy and new technologies into the power grid, while undertaking initiatives to modernize power systems. At USAID, our goal is to support India in building a resilient and robust power sector in which clean energy occupies a central role. USAID supports a number of pilots to test technologies and solutions supporting the large-scale integration of renewable energy into the Indian power grid as part of a joint initiative with the Ministry of Power called Greening the Grid, Renewable Integration and Sustainable Energy, also known as G2G RISE. The United States-India partnership is based on deep mutual understanding, a comprehensive approach, and a resolute commitment to energy security and energy access. USAID and the Ministry of Power have worked, learned, and moved ahead together in efforts to achieve our common goals.
Renewable energy is slated to power the nation, but it also comes with a challenge. Modernization and evolution of our power systems that can balance demand and supply, ruling out any mismatch in real time, is the need of the hour. The 6 pilots are multi-implementer works with technical assistance and ground support from USAID. The pilots, conducted over the last 5 years, have provided invaluable evidence to analyze innovative strategies for renewable energy integration. The evidence base has built a strong foundation for reform in system operations and infrastructure to improve forecasting, increase the power system's flexibility, and shape newer renewable energy trading models.
Strategy program Greening the Grid has been very useful. We value this partnership with USAID and it has been very enriching. And integration of renewable energy, the biggest challenge that comes is integration because of variable nature of renewable energy. And this is a problem we have to deal with, and how best we can deal with, we have to see some pilot as to this concept can work. Or some other concept can work, and based upon successful pilots that can be replicated across the different segments of our sector, so that we have a stable grid, a secure grid, and a grid which is resilient enough to deal with the challenge being posed by renewable energy.
India's existing coal-based power generation must be made flexible to rule out instability from large-scale integration of variable renewable energy into the electricity grid. The share of renewable energy generation is expected to increase from 18% to 44% by 2029-30, while that of thermal is expected to reduce from 78% to 52%. Hence, coal flexibilization through technical interventions and operational changes is critical for India's energy transition. USAID partnered with National Thermal Power Corporation and other state utilities of Gujarat and Karnataka in operationalizing 2,120 megawatt of coal capacity flexibility through technical studies and low-load test runs. Battery energy storage systems facilitates tiding over demand-supply mismatch in the grid. USAID's pilot on battery energy storage systems, or BESS, with Power Grid helped assess battery technologies and their utility in grid-based services. The pilot's outcomes are crucial for scaling up BESS in the country and its integration into the power grid. The go-live launch of BESS pilot at the Puducherry site of the power grid demonstrated how BESS applications work for different usages in real time. The BESS pilot on distribution developed a business case for deployment of BESS in BSES Rajdhani Power Limited's distribution network.
We are continuously involved with the USAID for not only in this particular project, also there are other activities going on. So overall experience is, you can say, so far is outstanding.
Power system reliability with increased renewable energy penetration is a key focus area for system operators. The need of the hour is to maintain an array of ancillary reserve services to balance supply and demand for power in real time. One of the pilots implemented under GTG RISE focused on the adoption of automatic generation control (AGC) for hydro and solar plants in the southern region. It identified technical requirements and compensation mechanisms for generation units that participate in the secondary reserve market. The go-live launch at the AGC pilot at Shravati Hydro Power Plant in Karnataka provided critical data for implementing Central Electricity Regulatory Commission's mandatory rollout of AGC across all interstate stations. USAID through GTG RISE also supported CERC in realizing its transformative vision of redesigning and implementing the day-ahead, real-time and ancillary markets to place the Indian electricity market in the league of advanced wholesale electricity markets globally. With the launch of Real-Time Market (RTM), DISCOMs now purchase large units in spot markets just ahead of delivery. This marks a shift away from long-term contracts to a more efficient and dynamic supply and can position India as a reliant electricity common pool for trading power in the South Asian region. The program also supported development and implementation of the National Open Access Registry (NOAR) by POSOCO, which will improve electricity trading within shorter intervals in line with global trends. An IT-based system for rendering faster, short-term open access approvals is crucial for removing bottlenecks in an increased renewable energy integration scenario. NOAR will facilitate easier and accurate reporting, monitoring, and surveillance by regulators.
If you run a pilot, people will get confidence. That's the most important point. So it's the right time that USAID with the GTG RISE has come, and many pilots were taken in many facets. So bringing the technical minimum to lower, then introduction of a automatic generation control. The approach cannot be on a single pointed. It has to be a multifaceted and multi-pronged approach. So these pilots will really help people to get confidence. You require a different approach of taking everybody on board. That is a one important issue. So how quickly the states will come on board with the initiatives taken from the center.
The initiative through Forum of Regulators supported 19 state electricity regulatory commissions (SERCs) and SLDCs in preparation of forecasting and scheduling FNS regulations, deviation settlement mechanism DSM regulations, and implementation of scheduling, accounting, metering and settlement of transactions in electricity SAMAS frameworks. One of USAID's key mandates is to address women empowerment for effective and sustainable development outcomes. Under GTG RISE initiative, the South Asian Women in Energy or SAVI was established, which focuses on greater gender equality and mainstreaming women's leadership across the energy supply chain. An industry advisory council was established under the US-India Strategic Partnership Forum to bolster private sector participation. The program conducted various knowledge and capacity building programs through peer-to-peer exchanges between US-India system operators and regulators. More than 2,000 individuals have been trained and 200 institutions capacitated by the program. Several technical reports and white papers were developed to disseminate the insights and lessons learned from its pilot projects.
President Biden and I are launching the India-US Climate and Clean Energy Agenda 2030 partnership. Together, we will help mobilize investments, demonstrate clean technology, and enable green collaboration.
USAID and the Ministry of Power have worked, learned, and moved ahead together in efforts to achieve our common goals. Our shared journey is thriving, thanks largely to the commitment and unwavering support of our government partners. We look forward to taking our partnership to the next level.
This strategic clean energy partnership between the United States and India captures their resolute commitment to a cleaner and sustainable environment, the two watchwords of the 21st century.